boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. You can see guys piling into the room. Let's see. We got Amy. Good morning to you. Bill. Good morning. Brian. Jason P. King. We got Jay Linder in the house. Good morning to LW. Marcus. We got Raj rocking with us. Rohit, did I say that correctly? Ron, good morning to you. We got Sean Bell. Good morning. Wendy Wynn. Rohit says yes. Perfect. That means it's a good start. It's a good start when I could actually speak proper English. I like it. All my peeps out there in YouTube land, good morning to all of you guys as well. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe buttons. All right, Adam already throwing some tickers into the chat. If you guys have more you want to take a look at, by all means, throw those out there as well. But let's take a look. We got the SPY with a little bit of a gap up. We did survive PCE numbers this morning, which inflation actually came up a little bit, or it was a little hotter than I would have thought. But jobs numbers were pretty much in line, and we are taking it fairly well so far. So a little bit of a tiny gap up this morning. The higher we go after one big massive day number 3. Yesterday was a smaller but still bullish day, and we're still climbing. So this is a retest gap. Technically speaking, lots of buying have happened so far, and we're probably pushing into this 452.72 zone. That's my first stop. The other one that's the real target is 456.19. We would have to legitimately do another really extremely bullish day for us to hit that. I think what would be, I don't know. I mean, this is what could happen, right? That's scenario 1. We just pop up and we just hit this. If this scenario happens where we just pop up, there's no pullback, it's going to make it a lot tougher for us to break through that highs and continue higher. If we do end up selling, I don't know where, when, why, how, but if we do pull back and then it's an attempt into that, then we have a much smaller move and we have a potential breakthrough. So I would, for the bullish sake, I almost want to see a little pullback, some profit taking, reset it up, and then we look to go bullish. Again, that's just scenarios of how to get through this zone so that we can get to new all-time highs for the year. But we will see. It is gap up. I would expect probably a little bit of a pullback at open, and then I think the bulls remain strong. To the downside, the first spot I'm looking for, a little safety net, would be 451.10. Coming down a little bit further, very good support should be 449.13. And if that starts to break, we're probably going to see closer to maybe 442.88, something like that, a much bigger pullback. But all of this kind of has to, I think, be retested at some point. And again, it doesn't have to. We could just straight shot up into this 457, but then I think that bulls are going to want to take profits. If we could take profits before, then the new bulls that reload might want to hold through it. So we'll see what happens. We got the Qs, QQQ. The Qs, we have a small, tiny gap up, like 15 pennies on the Qs. Not really breaking through yesterday's developing VPOC, but we are above yesterday's closed VPOC. So it could be a little iffy here too. And again, does momentum just absolutely continue in really just, and how's NVIDIA? Let's just talk about NVIDIA. If NVIDIA wants to go, then great, we'll pop through. Not if we do get a little bit higher, next stop on the Qs for me would probably be about 379.68. We get a little bit of resistance. After that, we're looking for this 383.02. Same thing. We've had a bunch of bullish days in a row, pretty strong moves. A little pullback would make this healthier to break through. Otherwise, we probably have to not break through it on this time and experience a pullback at that point. But we will see. Otherwise, eventually this gets retested. I don't know. I don't know, again, when, where, how, why, who. Not sure. It's tough to jump in front of the bullish direction. And also, by the way, that's a little bit of why we're seeing the markets move crazy is maybe not so much on the buying side, but it's a lot of the squeezing happen as people reloaded up on shorts. The market pulls back. I think the SPY did pull back pretty decent, and then obviously in investors' mind, in traders' mind, is going a lot higher. Good morning, Lou. Lou, remind me to shoot you a message on Slack. Just about the mentor group. Me and Matt figured out a way to figure that out. We got Shopify from Adam, so we'll take a look at that first. Have Z's in YouTube land says good morning to you as well. Shopify, nice little gap up. Is this off of Shop announces Shopify shot higher in early trading on Thursday after Amazon announced that it will release an app in Spotify's app ecosystem that will give US-based merchants access to Amazon's Buy with Prime. Interesting. I'm not sure why Amazon would do that. I guess you still have to be a Prime member. So the app will, that actually kind of, it kind of does make sense. And that is good for Shopify. So let's see. Shopify, nice little gap up. Technically, this would be a retest gap. Is the news going to overwhelm the gap? I don't think so. Yeah, we're into a little bit of resistance here. We might pop a little bit higher on this news. It is really actually pretty good news. See if we can short a little bit higher, somewhere in the 65.74. That's what I'd be looking for. So maybe a quick pop into there, dollar higher, and then see if we can rotate this thing down. But pretty good gap, retest gap. I would see if we get a little bit higher before we especially in this market. But that's a pretty good gap. If we do need to fade somewhere, if this market wants to give back anything, maybe Shopify would be the play. And since it's shop/Amazon news, let's take a look real quick at Amazon, see how they're reacting off that. Slight little gap up, so nothing too crazy. Again, a little bit of a retest gap. This one, I think, will fade down lower, 135.11, and then that could be the spot to load up. We still have not. Amazon's a little bit weaker than some of the other companies that have broken past this one particular day. So Amazon hasn't really got there, hasn't got the momentum. Right now, we are opening above all moving, all VPOCs except for one right here. So my all flags go green zone is 135.39. So if we can get there, let's call it 135.40. That should give us at least room, I think, until probably 136.51. So that would not be a horrible trade. But again, better risk reward if we do wait to see if this thing could come down and fade a little bit lower. CRM, Salesforce, close this gap, dipped a little bit under. Let's see where this pre-market is. Ooh. Technically, it's a retest gap into a little bit of resistance as well. This is earnings. They beat by surprise upside earnings per share, beat by 22 cents. Surprised upside revenue about 73 million. Nice little gap for them. We are into a little resistance, but this is a pretty sickening gap. And CRM's just been like, we just finally started to break out. I don't think this one actually, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't think this one comes back and does a full-on retest today. We've only really had one breakout day so far. And some people might be waiting to, whoever was short underneath this might be just kind of waiting to see. Actually, I kind of like it more bullish than bearish, but we are at that resistance. It's going to be a tough one. Let me put this one higher. And then the other thing, if we do take this thing bullish as opposed to bearish, and the only reason I'm saying that, so we have definitely retest gap, right? We broke out, gave any of these people a chance to say, okay, maybe we're losing on this one, but you have 1 day till earnings. And if you're a true believer that Salesforce is coming down, you might want to hang in. So you could still be trapping some people, but then with this gap, you're trapping all of those people too that were not really concerned so much about a 1 day breakout candle. But we do have slight tiny resistance from that VPOC right up here, where that would be the spot to get it smacked right back down. All right, we'll see what happens on it. Realistically, just on a technical standpoint, I think probably look for the fade on this thing. but we are trapping some additional people as well. Let's take a look at Tesla. We got the Tessie. Lurkin's in the house. Good morning, Lurkin. Lurkin's here. All right, we got Tessie gapping down slightly, almost to a point where it doesn't matter. Smack inside day. Momentum still is in the bullish direction. As of now, we'll see what happens in the next 18 minutes. But as of now, we are above both yesterday's VPOC and the day before. So not bad there. I think we'll still be looking for continuation, but watch this level here. To the downside, we have two levels of support. So yesterday's VPOC sitting somewhere around 255.84. And then Tuesday's VPOC sitting at 254.82. Again, lots of bullishness. Kind of a day just to hang out. I think we could see some continuation on this one if the market doesn't just absolutely rug pull everybody. First target to the higher side would be 259.78. That one has been broken already. And then the next one up from that point, I would say takes us to about 261.82. So I think Tesla probably tops somewhere 261.82 today. So you probably have to the upside about, let's say, call $5, but slightly under. And then not a lot of room until 254 breaks, 254.67. And that would take us back to the probably, I think, 251.32 should be a decent support for him. We already got the bounce off that yesterday. And like I said, as of now, momentum still bullish, kind of just sitting right at that VPOC. So we have to wait. It's also inside day. So I don't think there's anything really to take out of the gate on Tesla today. I pulled up NVIDIA, but I was supposed to type DraftKings. We'll just take a look at NVIDIA first. NVIDIA still moving in the bullish momentum, a little bit of a high wave indecision. This one could be a little bit tougher to trade as well, as long as we're still in this high wave. We are below yesterday's VPOC on this one. Support should come in around 489.26. So I think we're getting at a little tighter of a trading range on that one. DraftKings, DKNG, about to be football season, baby. Let's go. We got a week from today. A week from today, we get the first football game. I don't know if Rock's here yet, but usually I think we get the run up into football season, and as soon as football season starts, it starts to fade. So I don't know. I might sell some covered calls. We'll see what happens. This is a little gap up. This is a retest into potentially a little bit of resistance. We're slightly above it now. Again, we still got 16 minutes till the open, but that one probably comes back, fades, and then look for 29.56 to hold. That would be your bullish move to make the attempt higher. If this thing just doesn't really want to retest, it throws in one candle. Actually, I'm going to put this higher on the list. If this one does like a one candle, I think that's all it needs. One red candle down, just some kind of, somebody wants to take profit from here. And if we could take the break, that would give us a decent trade with potential room up to like 31.15. So could see some more bullish momentum out of DraftKings. We will see. But again, I would love to see just like somebody wants to take profit would be fun. All right, we covered NVIDIA, Tesla. Let's take a look at crowd. Real virtual demand. What is happening? All right, we got CrowdStrike. Good little gap up as well. This is on earnings. So it's up about 13 cents surprise. Earnings per share, revenue, an extra 5 million in the bank. Again, it's going to be one of these retest gap into, I'm thinking a lot of these things actually could fade at the open. To the higher side, we're going to run into big support, big resistance at 154.45. We are kind of holding this level for right now, but a break of 152.36, I think that would take us at least down to 149.94. So again, it's retest gap, 2 days of buying. Earnings were good. Where we at longer term in this picture? Still kind of looks like a little bit of a potential head and shoulders at this point. Great support at 142.45. The candle I really want to see break is this one right here. Again, this one still hasn't done it, but if we could get above 155.73, that's plenty of room up to 166, and then essentially that head and shoulders would be off the table at that point. If you have a downtrend on this one, all these gaps are looking kind of the same. Like they've already done the work pre-market, and that's concerning. Some kind of support about here. Well, there's our downtrend line. Open. Yeah, let's see if we might get a little pullback. Let's see if we get a pullback, and then I'd be okay going long on this one. I don't know if it's enough room to really short this one down. So this one I would have to be patient and just wait. And then Okta, OKTA. So we had an official swing trade on this one like 2-3 weeks ago. Really just did nothing while we were in it. I pulled this one up this morning as I was just running through the market. We finally got ourselves into a little bit of a TTM squeeze. So on a bullish direction, I'm like, we sold too early. I ended up taking like a small gain just because I knew earnings were coming out. Realistically, I should have just never even looked at the earnings calendar and just stayed in it because we would be well past target. But this thing was just absolute chop fest into it. This one does have some more room to run higher into a little tiny resistance now. We do have some kind of retest gap. Plenty of room on this thing up to $90.90. I do think this is going to be more of a bullish move after all of this consolidation. So my question is, I want to go bullish. I just don't know where. I would love to see a fade back into like 78.51, somewhere in that zone, and that would take us right into here. Bam, plenty of room to the higher side. So one of my favorites today, but favorites with patience. I don't think I could take this one right out of the gate. I love the fact that all these people are absolutely hosed. Anybody that was going short. And we have a whole big gap to fill. We're smack in the middle of it. So give me better risk reward, bring it down a little bit, and then see if we can carry it up. Cindy K, what's happening, girl? Drake says it's about the larger bear candle and high volume, but up so much the last few days. Not really sure. We don't want to move it. Shop maybe bullish at open for $1 gain, then reverse on resistance. That's what I was thinking on Shopify. CRM, you got targets to, let me pull up CRM again, 234.45. Yeah. I mean, I like CRM. This is definitely a retest gap. So if you're playing it your way, that gives you about $4 higher from here. That would be my target. Yep, right up into there would be my target. Can it break through it? Maybe, I don't know, but that's where I'll be shaving either all or partials at that level if I could get higher. Seeing if there's any other like crazy volume candles in here. Not that I see. And then you got that little buying there. We are trapping a lot of we're trapping a lot of bears on this thing. I don't think CRM has a big short float. Let me see. Finviz CRM. I can't imagine it does. Yeah, very, very small, 0.77. So we don't have that working out favor, but it is a really, really good gap. Let me see from the Lux Algo perspective on things. The key level we got to break through is really 232.27. And if we get through that, the next level takes us to about 237.91. And even that's relatively small. Next target, really, in a slightly longer term picture, I would say probably 251.64. That being said, I would look for maybe like 227.36. So that still brings me down first before we go higher. So let's see if we can get down to that 227 zone and then try to rock it from there. Rote says VPOC, VWAP the same. Not quite. No, VPOC is going to give you the price for the highest volume of the day. So where this red line is, and again, it's kind of just a range here, so it's not to the penny, but 229.30 would be the highest price of this day. VWAP is going to give you the average of price to volume. So that's going to move. It's going to look more like a trend line, where VPOC is like, this is where the volume came in at the highest price. Nebraska women's volleyball team, volleyball drew a larger crowd than Nebraska football team, 92,000 plus. Good for them. Good for them. I mean, I don't follow Nebraska football, to be honest. So I don't know if they have like a crowd of 1 or 70,000 that show up. But I feel like they're a big deal. I feel like they're a big deal. Yeah, I like NFL. For some reason, I'm like college. I'm like, yeah, okay. I like college basketball over NBA, but I do like NFL over college. All right, let's see if we got Larkin says TSM to 96.45. Let's take a look at TSM. That's the largest crowd for women's sports, period. What about like women's soccer? Don't they have a decent crowd? Taiwan Semiconductors. What about like the World Cup crowd? No, that was yeah. Women's volleyball got a bigger crowd. Good on Nebraska. All right, we got TSM. Unfortunately, they're college and they probably don't see any paychecks from it. But that's a whole different topic. But they will. Let them graduate. All right, we got a little bit of a gap down here. So you want to run this thing to 96.45. 96.45. That's gonna be a little too high for me. Yeah. I think I think Baba's slightly gapping down, JD's gapping down, Baidu's kind of giving up a little bit too. We're in an interesting area on all these things, including Taiwan Semiconductor, but so technically this is a retest gap. We're at a little bit of support below us at 93.69. I wouldn't be able to say that it could get anywhere past this 96 until we get past this candle. So as soon as we get past this candle, then we're probably running a little bit more bullish. That makes this a heck of a lot easier. So this could be a little fade. I do think this one gets bought up at the open, but probably looking for like 95.13. I don't know if they're gonna have the momentum today to break that out. All right, let's take a look at Netflix, see if anything's happening there. Again, nice little tiny gap down into support, nothing too crazy. If we could get a little bit lower on Netflix, we probably have room down to this where I set my alarm for 426.72. So nothing crazy. Roku looks like it started to try to break out yesterday. That's a decent close on Roku. I don't see where where's the there it is. Roku has a little gap up. Roku also has some room on it. Back to 83.44. That could be interesting. Rock is in the house. Palantir got a downgrade, so that might be worth looking at. Morgan Stanley downgraded them, but raised their price target to $9. So a little downgrade, but a price hike. And coming into a little bit of support around here, 1551 would be support there. Let's see what else we got. Neo. Market says, what's the Chinese stock sentiment in general? Avoid them because they're a mess. Good question. They're a risk. There's a risk to them. The biggest risk is if China invades Taiwan. So not all of them, but a lot of the Chinese stocks are in deep value. Like, so if you pick up, for instance, I've picked up some Baba, I'm holding in the account. That's if I had to choose any, I would like Baba a lot, but Baidu would be another one. I don't really know too much about JD, but they're all absolutely beaten up. The Chinese economy is not looking too great. I know real estate is a big issue for China. So there's a lot of things that people will say they don't like on China stocks. And then there is also some manipulation just straight out of numbers for what they report. It is what it is. But You do have deep value on a lot of the Chinese names. This is typically the time where you do want to buy. Like if you have a good company and you like it, the revenue's there, the sales are there, everything looks good. These are the times where you're buying it for the long term to get the better deals. Because if China starts to rotate, they don't invade Taiwan, all this stuff, and it picks up, then great, you have it at a good value. By the time everyone starts talking, oh yeah, Baba's going to go to 500 again, nobody's talking about it at $80, right? $80, $90. They're like, okay, it's too risky. But when it's at $500, everybody loves it. So I would say there's that. But then the risk to it is if something happens where China invades Taiwan, I mean, a lot of those stocks are going to drop 70%, right? But if it's a good company, good value, great. I don't care. I'll buy more at those pricing because I don't think it's going to. I don't think the business is going out of business, and now I get a better deal, right? So it all depends. If you're going in heavy on something, be careful because anything could happen. But I would say to the same note, if China invades Taiwan, then the entire market is going to pull back, and there's going to be a hefty selling day too, and everything pulls back. Chinese stocks probably a little bit more, but I don't think anything will be safe. So as much as people want to use that, like, yeah, they could invade and yada, yada, yada. Well, it could happen, but well, then everything is kind of screwed. So, so load the boat on Baba. I don't load the boat on anything, but I buy periodically. So eventually the positions get bigger and bigger and bigger, the more they stay in these low value areas. And then eventually, so I personally would never load the boat on anything. I don't care how good it is, just because no matter how good it looks today, something could happen tomorrow. Fundamentally, it's different. For the long term, yeah, for a trade, I mean, I'm buying as many shares as I could that fits the R system. But the other thing too is I don't know when the Chinese story turns around, right? I would like to say like, yeah, in the next couple of months it looks good, but for instance, could Baba drop down to $60 first? Back down to the $60 range where it was once, where we first started talking about Baba. And everyone's like, nah, you crazy. I'm like, nah, it's good. It's good. Trust me. So it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to buy it. It's up to you. But that's where we first started talking about it. We've been hanging out in this range for a while. I think 120 on Baba is, I think 120 to 130 is probably fair value for Baba. We'll see, but that's a decent upside. But the time value of money could be a factor too. Maybe it takes 5 years for Baba to turn around. Okay, cool. I'll be buying it for the next 5 years. Right. But if you want to go all in on Baba and you're just sitting there with all your capital in one stock, what if it does take 5 years and then you're missing out on the Nvidia moves, the Tesla moves, the PayPal moves, the other things like that? So that's why I go slow, build everything slow. It's okay. It's not a race. But what is a race is this clock keeps on ticking, and unfortunately we got like 30 seconds left to that opening bell. So everybody out there, YouTube land, I hope you guys have a great day. Make sure you guys stay safe in the markets. I think we got past most of the news today, so I don't really see too much more coming out. I'd have to check. I don't think we have any speeches, nothing like that to really keep out a look on the horizon for. But last day of the month. We got one more day starting tomorrow of this week, beginning of September.